Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Pantanal mixed species exhibit. Here in our habitat, we have exciting news for you. Today is National Siblings Day, and to celebrate that, we wanted to share our exciting news of our 5 additions to our capybara herd. So our mom and dad, Poppy and Rio, just had another litter of pups, and they are 3 males and 2 females. And we are very excited to welcome these guys to our Cappy group. This is Poppy and Rio's 3rd litter together. So come on out and see these guys while they're small. So capybaras will stay small for a very short period of time. They're rodents. They are born and they will start eating solid foods right out of the bat. They're ready to go. So these guys will grow very, very quickly like other rodents. Joining them, we also have, there's a total of 10 as we kind of scan around this habitat. We have 10 total in this yard, and then we have an additional 3 in another yard. As you're looking at them, we have a theme to each one of our groups that they have had throughout the time they have been breeding here at the Houston Zoo. So we have what we call a pastry group, and then we also have a potato group. Rio and Poppy are just our mom and dad. They don't really have a theme, but we theme them after Poppy and Rio. So capybaras are really neat. If you get out here and you see them playing in their pool, these guys love to swim in their pool, and that is because that is something that is natural to them. They use water to escape any kind of predators that are possibly going after them. And as you look at their faces, you'll notice that their ears and their eyes are actually, as well as their nose, is actually located towards the top of their head. This allows them to hide the majority of their body underwater while still being able to look out for any predators that are coming after them. You can find these guys in Central and South America. Some fun facts about our capybaras is that they can eat about 6 to 8 pounds of grass a day. Like I said, they are the largest rodent. They are the largest rodent in the world. So they can range from anywhere from 60 to 170 pounds. And when you think of that in relation to humans, it's quite large for a rodent. Some of their natural predators in the wild are going to be jaguars. And their groups are typically from about 10. They can be as small as 10. They're going to be in little small groups. They can also reach up to 40 in the wild if the space allows for it. You guys also get an additional sound effect of a helicopter, as well as their neighboring birds are screamers. So if you come out to the Houston Zoo and you are in the Pantanal mixed species habitat area, you're going to find these screamers that you hear right now. Try to locate them. They're usually quiet, but they also liked the helicopter that just went over. And other exciting news, we're going to be doing a giveaway to 2 lucky viewers who asked a Cappy question. Look at the cuteness in that camera right now. A Cappy giveaway of 2 lucky viewers with a Cappy stuffed animal. Along with these stuffed animals, you can find merchandise like this online, as well as in our gift shop. So if you really love Cappies, like everybody does, come on over and see our new additions, as well as grab some souvenirs on the way out. These guys can spend about 5 minutes underwater without coming up, which is one of my coolest facts that we have about these guys. So if you look really closely as they're filming, you'll see that they have webbed toes. So those webbed toes allow them to swim very, very easily and smoothly throughout the water, as they're, one, either escaping predators, if that's something that is happening at the moment in time, but they also just like to play in mud as well as swim in marshy areas. So that's something that they will commonly be found doing. If you come on a really hot day, you will probably find every single one of these cappies either in a mud spot in the yard that the keepers have made for them, or in these pools that are provided for them as well. And if you're just joining us, Today we have our special announcement of just in time for National Siblings Day. Our new additions, 5 total, of Poppy and Rio, the father. This is their third group, or third litter together. And these guys, as pups, these can range from about 2 to 5 pounds. And then these get as adults, they can reach all the way up to about 170 pounds. You're probably listening to sound effects that these guys are making as well. That's a loud, squeaky sound. These guys are very similar to guinea pigs. So they have a lot of similar traits. But the capybaras are definitely the largest rodents in the world. And you can see that when you see a pup right next to her mom or right next to a sibling, how small they are and then how fast they grow. So like I said a little earlier, these guys are rodents and they grow very, very fast. So if you come out in a couple weeks, they're not going to probably look as tiny and cute. They're still going to be cute, but they're not going to be quite as tiny as they are. These guys were born just a week ago. And they received their neonate exams to get all checked out health-wise. And then they spent a lot of time in the back kind of bonding with the entire family. So we left the whole entire group together because that's how they typically would be found in the wild as well. You would find groups from about 10, ranging all the way up to about 40 individuals in the wild. It depends on the space, so definitely in the wild, the more space and the more swampy areas and grass areas that they can find, there's going to be more cappies that probably hang out in those areas. We also have a cappy of all size. As she's scanning around, you'll also notice that we have small, medium, large, medium, and a large cappy. We have a couple different groups and we definitely go by their size. So our pastry group, we have our parents, they're the biggest, or they're the largest, and then you're going to have the next group is going to be the pastries that are in this yard with them, and the next size down is going to be the potatoes. And as you're walking around the Pantanal mixed species exhibit, you're definitely going to see a whole nother group that we call the Encanto Trio. We have Julieta, Peppa, and Bruna that are part of that group, and they are in a separate group. And sometimes that's what happens in the wild. Well, these guys pair off in different groups and who they get along with and things like that. So we have the ability to run 2 separate groups here, 2 separate happy, healthy groups, and we're excited to have that happening. Why do their ears move? I love that question. So their ears move. If you ever are here and you're actually seeing them go underwater, they're going to move their ears to get flies. You'll see flies kind of on their ears. They move them to get rid of that. But you'll also see those ears close off as they go underwater. They'll flatten to their head, close off, and go straight to their head. It allows to keep all that water from going in their ears. These guys are built to be in the water, and everything about them, their eyes, their nose, and those ears are built to be able to submerge underwater to about 5 minutes. And it's just a talent in general of your ears moving like that. I think it's just a talent they like to do. But they do a lot of moving of their ears to get bugs or stuff off of them. It could be a part of a communication thing as well. These guys are very vocal with each other. But it's definitely not exactly similar to like a dog or a horse or anything like that. But their ears are very, very cute and have actually a really cool purpose to them other than just hearing. So in these yards, what animals do these guys interact with? We are very excited that we have a really cool mixed species habitat here at the Houston Zoo, that all these animals are very interactive with each other, as well as they use each other as what we would call for enrichment. So these guys are constantly interacting with other species, which is really good for the health of these animals and their brain activity and things like that. So these guys get to share exhibits. Currently, in their habitats, they share with tapirs, anteaters, some greater rheas, screamers. If you were joining us a little earlier, you got to hear those screamers. You would hear them probably before you see them, but they love to let everybody know that they're there. And then we also have a couple swans that they share their habitat with. Currently, this family group, because the pups are still growing, they are going to be out in the yard by themselves for right now, and then as they get a little bit bigger, we're going to kind of graduate them to the bigger yard. What does their fur feel like? That is an awesome question as well. These guys actually have a very coarse skin, are very thick skin, as well as very coarse hair. Another favorite thing to share with people about these capybaras is if you get scratching on them and you get just the right spot with their scratches, you'll see all of their hair go straight up. That means that they are loving it. So you'll also see it when they're cold, but you'll also mostly see it when they're content and getting those scratches. But their hair is very, very coarse. It is actually, so the question is it true that capybara's teeth never stop growing? Just like all rodents, that is very true. So these guys are constantly, you can actually see as the camera pans around, you'll see some bark that's pulled off and off. We have one very, very vocal, tiny one right there. You'll see some bark that's pulled off. That is what they have to constantly be chewing on something to get those teeth to stay in a healthy length. So everybody always talks about, oh, I love to have a capybara as a pet. It's very untrue, actually. These guys can chew through a lot of things. They're actually quite destructive. We give them a lot of enrichment to be able to keep their mind stimulated, as well as keep their teeth, their toenails and everything like that healthy. But these guys are big chewers. They will chew through anything and everything. And they do continuously work on those teeth to keep them at a healthy length, and they will continue to grow throughout their entire life. How long are the moms usually pregnant for? Good question. These guys, like rodents, have a very short pregnancy. It's in a time frame of about, I cannot remember right now, about 5 to 6 months. I have to think about it again later. But so these guys, like I said, reproduce just like any other rodent. So as soon as they have a litter, they'll usually start right back up with another litter. And that's why you'll see a lot of different rodents, a lot of rodent activity and stuff like that, but also in big groups. So capybara groups can be born, litters can be up to 8. So Poppy loves to have bigger litters. So it all depends on the individual. But these guys come out, like I said a little bit earlier, they come out ready to go. So they are they do nurse off of mom. So you will see all 5 of them. She is an amazing mom. All 5 of them nursing on her at once. And along with being an amazing mom who nurses them, they also will be seen nibbling on stuff and eating solids already. So these guys are quickly on their way to being very cute miniature adults. They come out with those little tiny rodent teeth that we talked about earlier, and they will continue to grow. Do you see them having their own personalities? 100%. You will usually have one that's usually standoffish and will walk up later when the keepers walk out. Each one of them has a different relationship with the keepers here at the Houston Zoo. But you will see that ones that are more food motivated, you'll see ones that are standoffish. And as they're pups, you will actually also see that they each have their own personality very quickly. So you'll usually have one that's independent, you'll have one that sticks with the group, you'll have one that sticks next to another sibling, maybe an older sibling. So these are fun to watch and see how they kind of grow with each other within the group. For those of you that are just joining, like I said earlier, welcome. My name is Ren, and I am the hoofstock supervisor here at the Houston Zoo. And we are joined with some really special guests here, which are just in time for our Siblings Day. So shout out to every sibling out there. But they were here just in time to celebrate and joined with their siblings from other litters as well. And don't forget that you guys have an opportunity to help take care of and feed these capybaras by adopting a capybara in our animal program. So very cool opportunity. We'll have the opportunity to help provide food as well as the care for these little guys, and you'll get the opportunity to see how all of that food you guys are helping with helps them grow really, really big. If you missed a little bit earlier, these guys can get up to about 170 pounds, so that food will help them out a lot. These guys are herbivores, so yes, they can get that big as a rodent, strictly living on their lettuce, produce that you guys see. Grasses is their main diet, so they will dive into water areas and pull grasses from the bottom in swampy areas. That's a double thing. They get to cool off as well as eat. They also use water as their protection. So these guys have the ability to keep just their heads above water and the rest of their body underwater to keep monitoring for predators that might be in the area. So they have the ability to very quickly dip underwater, stay underwater for up to about five minutes, and then they can safely try to maneuver away from predators. Their main predators are jags. What kind of enrichment do these guys need? These guys are really fun to enrich. So these, like I said, they're very good chewers. We will rotate through their logs that we put in their yard. So anything that is non-toxic to them and browsable. Throughout their habitat, you're going to find different logs that are chewed. They may look rough, but that just means that capybara was definitely enriched and got to utilize that log as much as possible. So these guys are working on those teeth. And monitoring the length of them on their own and maintaining them on their own. So you're going to see them chewing on anything. And these guys are definitely investigative chewers. So you're going to see them nibble on things that you're like, well, you probably shouldn't try that, but they did just want to try it, and we'll see. So we have to give them a lot of enrichment to chew on, as well as we really like to give them things like scents, visual. And like I said a little bit earlier, one of the really cool things that we get to offer them here at the Houston Zoo is the opportunity to interact with other species. So naturally in the wild, you're not going to find just cappies by themselves. You're going to find cappies that are going to be interacting and coming across a lot of different species throughout Central and South America. So it's enriching for them because it is something that they would naturally be found doing in the wild, and having to learn how to interact with them, good and bad. Sometimes you'll see where other animals are annoyed with each other, and that's okay. That's great for them. That's good for their mind. It's good for them to be thinking like that. So enrichment, for one of my favorite enrichment that we're able to offer them, is going to be other species to interact with. And then pools are very enriching for them. So these guys need to be offered pools for the health of their skin, as well as just who doesn't like to play in a pool, right? And then when you get them, come on down and watch them swim, you'll see that you can lose about 10 cappies by all of them going underwater once and swimming to a complete different area. You'll be watching 10 cappies with their heads in the water, and then they could all disappear, and you'll have to try to figure out where they're going to pop up next. So along with being a tactic that they use to protect themselves from predators, they also use this as a fun game with each other as well. You'll also see them wrestling with each other and kind of sparring with each other. Also a sibling trait that you guys can all share with them, but you'll see them in the pool having a blast with each other. And don't forget, if you ask a capybara question, you do enter a chance to win this really cute capybara stuffed animal that can also be found in our gift shop as well as online. So we have lots of really cool things that are capybara themed in our gift shops. And then asking a capybara themed question, you will also be entered to win. 2 special guests are going to also get the chance to get one of these capybara stuffed animals to take home for themselves. As we're nearing the end here, I wanted to thank you guys for joining in to see our new additions to our capybara family. So like I said, you guys, make sure you make it out here to next week. They're not going to be this tiny and cute. And as you're looking at them, and you may see a little shaved spot on them, and you're wondering, what is that? Did they come out of their mom with those? They did not. So this is our way to tell each one of them apart. We monitor their health every single day, and these little guys are fast. If you watch them run, they're fast and they're very curious, but they're also very wary of us. So our opportunity is to get to know them and their personalities and learn them by their shoulder patch or their patch that's shaved kind of on their rump too. So as you're out here, you can enjoy their cute little patches as well.